I was supposed to shoot this video a long time ago, like back in like September, and I was going to put it out like first week of October. I don't remember the month of October. I was very, very sick. It's scary when you spend the weekend at Disney with your girlfriend and some friends, and you come down with something really bad, and you go to see a doctor, and he says, well, the good news is it's not COVID. Bad news is it's definitely foreign, and we don't know what it is. I literally slept through the month of October. What is there not to like about Friday the 13th? It's easily argued the most established franchise of the slasher genre. It's considered to be right up there next to Frankenstein and Dracula as far as really well-known gigantic horror icons was Jason Voorhees. I'm not going to do a video about talking about the franchise, so go find that elsewhere. I grew up in a small town in New Jersey about 30 minutes from Camp Bosco, where they shot the original first film. Growing up watching those films, especially the first one, seeing those scenes of the lake and the woods, those were literally in my backyard. I grew up in that same gathering of wooded trees, if that makes any sense at all. I'm not an outdoorsman, obviously, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought it was always pretty cool. The first 20 years of my life, I grew up literally in the backyard of Camp Crystal Lake. I established my passion and love for Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th very early, very young. I remember having an assignment with my teacher at a very young age about who do you want to be when you grow up. I drew pictures of Jason Voorhees. That caused a laugh and a scare among the classroom. So the teacher said, well honey, why don't you just think a little harder about what you want to do when you're grown up. So I started drawing pictures of Batman. Once again, that was another laugh. So the same token, the teacher, honey, please try to get some more realistic. So I just started drawing pictures of guitars, and that's where I ended up pretty much my entire life. But I've always wanted to, I've always been so passionate about the character of Jason Voorhees. I've always wanted to play Jason Voorhees on film. Hence why I'm trying to actually establish my own film currently. Although with COVID in the world, a little hard to get a bunch of people in the woods and shoot a movie, believe it or not. But I've always been passionate, I've always loved the franchise. The second best thing, rather than playing Jason Voorhees in a film, was to create a costume and make the most authentic Jason Voorhees you could ever imagine. You know, the whole franchise, 12 movies of Jason Voorhees, the look of Jason has changed so dramatically in each and every film. Everyone has a favorite, everyone has a pick. Most people go for the part 3 and part 4 look, which is iconic. A lot of people like to go for the more intense stuff like part 7 or part 9, the more zombified Jason, if you will. Another classic is part 6, which is still pretty iconic. A lot of people go for the Jason versus Freddy look. To be honest, I'm not a fan. I don't care for the burlap jacket and the burnt to a crisp look. That whole film on its own is just, to me, is a bit disastrous, in my own honest opinion. I'd rather watch Jason X than Freddy vs. Jason. I think it's the weakest Jason we've ever seen on film. 2009, I remember seeing the reboot in theaters with some friends. Say what you want about the film. I have a lot to say about the film. There's a lot of pros and cons about the film. However, that look of Jason in that film is exactly, at least in my opinion, what you would think the Jason would look like in a real world scenario. If you look at Halloween decorations and look at the decor of any type of Spirit Halloween or anything like that of Jason Voorhees, you see him wearing a jacket, most likely a green jacket. However, all the films, he never once wore a green jacket, although he wore a jacket in the reboot, and I think that has a lot to say about the iconic look that he has. Plus, that whole production of that film, out of everyone who's played Jason Voorhees, everyone adores Kane Hodder. I think Kane Hodder is fantastic for what he did. He brought the character to an icon, how his physical presence would be on every single film that he did playing Jason. Richard Brooker, a huge icon. You know, everyone who's played Jason has brought something to the table that was a little different. Love it or hate it. When Derek played Jason in the reboot, he brought an emotional side to Jason only because Derek was a fan before he got the part. He grew up obsessive over Friday the 13th like the rest of us fans. And when he got the role, it was a role of a lifetime to him. Kane Hodder and Richard Brooker and everyone else, you can go down the list, it was just a job mainly. That's how it started, it was just a job. But Derek, he took it in a passion. He took it as a fan. That's something to really admire. Love him or hate him, that's something to really, really admire about the guy who took on the role and made it so, so personal. It shows up on film and it makes the film way, way, way better because you can see how much he loves being in that character. It's a shame how we won't get a sequel to that film because of the franchise being under wraps of a horrible, horrible custody battle. Personally, I don't think we'll be seeing a Friday the 13th film for the next 10 years or so. But what we can do as fans is enjoy what we've had. We have 12 movies that we completely adore, and still to this day, it is alive and well. Video games, art, toys, costumes, fan films. I've seen the best fan films ever of Friday the 13th. And there's definitely a passion there among the fans that is unmistaken. So, when you start putting together a Jason costume, when you're not going for an authentic look, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy. What really that you gotta focus on is the mask, and you're pretty much call it a done day. I've seen a lot of great Jason cosplayers and costumers who just focus on the mask and throw together a makeshift hood and costume, and it actually works really, really well. Me, I started that way. I started with just a long blue coat and a white t-shirt and a bald cap. It was fun for Halloween parties and such, but once you start doing conventions and Halloween events, you catch the bug of being authentic and as real as you can get with your costume. First thing to talk about is the simple stuff. The boots and pants are, it's really not a big deal. I didn't really go for screen accurate for them because when you're dressed as Jason, no one's really looking at your feet or your legs. I just used a pair of brown Timberlands, like hiking boots, and they worked great. I found them really cheap and in my size at Bass Pro Shop, which is hard because a size 16 is just, that's a challenge in life as itself. Pants are just a pair of cargo pants. I just went for something that I already had that was comfortable, that was somewhat the same color, and it really nailed the spot big time. The shirt was made for me by Josh Luzman at Beyond Disgusting Studios. He sells these in his shop, at least as of right now, since I'm recording this video. He had these available at his shop for about 30 or 40 bucks. They're extremely authentic for the 2009 reboot Jason. This is just a regular Hanes t-shirt, and you pick it out as a size t-shirt that you would order like a regular t-shirt. Paints them, he rips them up, he tears them apart, makes them look just like how it does on the film. One thing that people forget about the 2009 reboot Jason is the sheath for the machete. This is worn on your left leg, on your left thigh. These straps go through your pant loops, and this strap goes around your thigh. And this is how Jason carries his machete. I found this pretty cheap, pretty authentic too, on eBay. A maker from the UK was actually selling these on eBay for a while. I don't know if she does anymore or not. It's made from real metal and real leather. These are like horseback riding hardware. I don't remember what this metal part is used for, but I know that this is blinders for a horse. Just stuff that you cannot really come by in a store. Researching this more and more, I realized that piecing this together myself was going to cost me a fortune. So I found her shop on eBay from the UK, and she offered a really, really good price for this, so I bought it real quick, and it was quick and simple. And it's very, very authentic, and I can carry my machetes around perfectly fine and not worry about it, especially around conventions and events. Speaking of machetes, I have two versions of the machete that I like to use. This is a stunt machete. So a stunt machete is foam rubber. It's never gonna hurt if you hit anything with it. They're really, really con safe. They weigh as light as a piece of paper. This was actually from Trick or Treat Studios. This is Rick's machete from The Walking Dead. Turns out that this is a really, really good length and the perfect color and the perfect look as the 2009 reboot machete. Saw this on the site. I think they offered this for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks. So I bought 2 of them, and I've been using them for films, and I've been using them for conventions and events, and it's perfect because it is so safe and it's so light. To the point where I've given this to children, and they've pretend to stab me as Jason. Seems to be a big favorite when kids like to take pictures with Jason. They want to be killing Jason. It's a great piece, and I'm very, very happy that I scored a couple of them, because I don't think they make these anymore, actually. But if you find these on eBay, definitely grab one, because they're worth it. The only difference between this one and the real one, it's just slightly shorter, but only by like, I want to say 5 or 6 inches. From a convention use, it's perfect. Now, for my other machete, this is my hero machete. This is the 2009 Neca release of the Friday the 13th reboot machete. This is real metal. This would really, really hurt someone if it really wanted to. It weighs a ton. It weighs much, much more than what a regular machete should weigh. Has a wood handle with leather wrapping. These are really, really hard to come by. Usually when you see these on eBay, they're usually autographed by Derek or anyone who's played Jason. I found one on eBay one time without the original box for a really, really good price, and I just couldn't pass up. When Neca put these out many years ago, this, as far as I'm concerned, this was actually ripped from the actual hero machete prop from the film. It's definitely the most favorited machete of my props. It's as close as you can get to the actual film production one. And these pop up on eBay once in a while. They're usually for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I saw one go for like $800 that was autographed. This went much, much, much less. But I'm glad that I found one, and this thing weighs like a ton, man. So for the 2009 reboot Jason, next thing you do is the jacket. Now, I'm very, very happy with this. This was made by Josh Ludman at Beyond Disgusting Studios, using the actual production line jackets from the film production. At least as far as I'm told. I could be wrong, but that's what I hear. The way that they made the jacket in the film and the way that these jackets are made, it's 2 jackets put into one. So it's a jacket cut in half across the chest there. Upper jacket is one jacket, the bottom jacket is another jacket. The bottom jacket, I want to say it's some kind of camper's jogging jacket. The upper jacket is like a winter coat turned inside out. These are extremely authentic. I made my first one just buying 2 jackets on eBay for $20 a piece, and it worked great for over a year until I wanted something a lot more authentic. So I got a hold of Josh at Beyond Disgusting Studios, and he made me one. He doesn't always offer these though, because he told me that these are really, really hard to come by, especially the upper jacket part. He usually orders these overseas from like an Australia dealer, and they're very, very expensive. So he does charge a pricey price for this jacket. Although if you are in the possession of one and you happen to own one, you know exactly why it costs so much. The sheer detail of this thing, this is what makes the costume overall so great, because this is usually what people see rather than your face and your head. But I'm very, very lucky to have this. I'm very, very lucky to got a hold of Josh during a right time to get one. And when the day it came in, it was perfect in every way. Now comes the most important part of any Jason costume, the hockey mask. This is a Crash Cunningham hockey mask made at crashcreations.com. I highly, highly recommend Crash in every possible way, doing a Jason costume or just a collector. These are the most authentic hockey masks you can ever possibly imagine. I know a lot of people like to go for the fiberglass stuff and the resin stuff. I avoid all that stuff due to numerous reasons that I won't get into. In the film, they used vacuum formed plastic, and Crash makes them with vacuum formed plastic. That's all I can really say about this stuff. I've had really, really ups and downs for fiberglass and resin. I recommend just keeping it simple and cheap and have one made exactly how it was made in the film, and you won't be disappointed. And this thing is a piece of art. I mean, every scratch, every crack, you can feel how deep that is. It's a deep cut. I mean, this is as authentic as you can possibly get. And I like how, I mean, he is an artist, so he signs the inside of every hockey mask that he does, and I admire that about him a lot. Definitely, I cannot recommend enough the hockey masks that Crash puts together, and this is a must-have for any type of collector or fan or Jason costumer or cosplayer. Another thing that you're going to fall into making a Jason costume is the underhood. People call it a hood, people call it a mask, people call it an underhood. I call it a hood. There's a lot of different versions of the hood. I'm not going to get into the differences of hoods and the makes between latex and silicone, the debates between latex and silicone. I'm actually going to save that for another video. But this is my silicone hood. It was made by hand from Josh Ludeman at Beyond Discussing Studios. This is by far one of my favorite pieces that I own. I mean, this thing is crazy, crazy, crazy realistic. And I'm very, very thankful that I was able to pull it off with Josh Ludeman. You know, my advice going into hoods and stuff, the argued debate between latex and silicone, I spent years with latex, and this is my silicone head. Go for silicone. If you can afford it, and if you got the money and you have the opportunity to go for a silicone head, go for it, because I'm telling you, it is a night and day difference. Much, much better difference. Like I said, if you want to check out more of that story, check out the other video. I really don't know what else to say. Dressing up as Jason Voorhees is as close as I can ever get to playing Jason Voorhees, which has always been a fantasy, it's always been a passion of mine, much like many, many others who dress as Jason. As fun as it can be doing Hellboy and Star Wars and Ghostbusters and Aliens, I have the most fun dressed up as Jason. Any convention, any event, any Halloween thing going on, I'll take advantage of dressing up as Jason in a heartbeat, because it is just so much fun. Even the fans who've only seen maybe one of the films, when they see Jason Voorhees, anyone would freak out. Anyone would love to get a picture with Jason. However, I will say, dressing up as Jason, I can't stand people who dress up as Freddy Krueger. And that's not even like a pun or a joke that I'm trying to set up. It's like legit, like, they're annoying. I just want to... But it's a lot of fun playing as Jason. I used to do live streams playing the video game a lot. And actually, my Twitch channel blew up. At one point, I was dressed as Jason playing the Friday the 13th video game. I had over 1,000 people watching, which I thought was a big milestone as far as my internet stuff going on. It's a shame that the game, unfortunately, the servers were pulled. The current state of the video game is not the same as what it used to be. It's still playable, and much like the films, it's still there to enjoy. But just like the other franchises, just like Aliens and Ghostbusters and everything else, you know, we can always look back and enjoy what we grew up watching and what we truly love in the franchise. Nothing in the matter of time can ever take that away from us, and that's how I feel about Friday the 13th. Yes, it's a cliche slasher franchise about, you know, a killer in the woods and half-naked people running around. But if you look at the story and you look at the meaning behind it, it's really, really sweet. And as cliche as it can get, I am a gigantic fan, and I love everything about Friday the 13th. I'm thankful to have met Kane Hodder, spent time with Kane Hodder, talking to him for many, many hours, especially during the production of the video game. I have yet to shake hands or meet Derek yet, but I would love nothing more to shake hands with Derek Mears and ask him all kinds of annoying questions about Friday the 13th. But this is me showing off my stuff. This is me showing off my props and my stuff and my toys and my costumes. And I never know how to end these videos, but thank you for watching, and thank you so much. And as a fan to another fan, let me hear your stories. Let me hear your stories about Kane Hodder. Let me hear your stories about meeting anyone, or your first time watching Friday the 13th. Let me hear their stories about your first time being introduced to the franchise. I'd love to hear them, because I'm extremely passionate about it, and I love talking about it, and I can do it for days and months upon end. But thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.